guys, this is Mary Beth. I'm about to make some of my famous cornbread dressing. This is March the 31st, and it's the night before Easter Sunday. And on Easter, for my family, we made it a tradition that we cook the same thing that we do for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So as I was about to make it, I thought maybe I should share my recipe with you guys. I'll just start by telling you that goes into cornbread dressing. This is the best. Some people call it stuffing. I call it cornbread dressing, and it was taught to us by our grandparents before us, and then their grandparents before them. Okay, you start the recipe by first making 2 pans of cornbread, and I use Cornkits for this. I don't use sweet cornbread because you don't want your dressing to be sweet. I use 5 packages of Cornkits, and you can cook it in iron skillet. And walk over here to the stove, and I'll show you this iron skillet. The iron skillet like this that your grandmother probably used to use. You can put a little oil in the bottom of it and let it get hot, and you can mix up 2.5 packages of Cornkits, and just like it says on the recipe, and then this skillet will hold 2.5 packages of cornbread, and I make 2 of those. Okay. Since I've already started, I have my cornbread, and when I get my cornbread done, I mix this, I crumble it up till it's real fine. And then I cut up a cup of celery, a cup of white onions, and a cup of green onions. And what I do for that, I saute them in a can of chicken broth in a little pot on the stove. And I like to use, and everybody likes their own brand, but I use Swanson's Chicken Broth, the 100%. I don't want no additives in it. Okay, and then I put that on the stove to boil, and whenever the cornbread is cool, you pour that in to your cornbread and mix it in. Okay, after that, I use a can of Campbell's cream of chicken soup, the whole can, just put it in there. I use a can of cream of celery soup, cream of celery soup by Campbell's, and then I put a can of cream of mushroom soup into the mixture, and then I stir it up. Okay? You also stir in a half a sleeve of crackers. But you've got to make cracker crumbs out of it, and then I take 5 slices of white bread. It can be old bread. You can save your bread and make breadcrumbs out of it, and it goes for this recipe really good. Okay. After I do that, I stir up all this, and I use 8 raw eggs, and I bust them and put them in here. You can see I've used 2, 4, 6, 8 eggs to put in this mixture. Okay, after I put my eggs in and get them stirred in, I'll add a little more chicken broth. You add the chicken broth till it's kind of soupy because you're going to have to bake it. So I'm still adding the chicken broth. Then, with everything that I cook, I use accent. Accent just gives everything, it just makes your flavor just pop. So I'll put in some accent, just teaspoon or so. And if you're like me, you end up just measuring things out like you think it ought to taste. Okay, guys, I put my last can of something in here. Right, my last thing is like that can of cream of mushroom soup, and I stir it really, really good. Just mix it up in there, and believe me, this will be the best cornbread dressing that you've ever had. The very last ingredient that I put in here is some ground sage, and it doesn't take very much, probably about a teaspoon, and you just sprinkle it around over there and stir it in. Okay, guys, after you're finished putting all your stuff together, stirring it up real good, you can go ahead and bake this at this time. But what I like to do, I bake mine, if I have a function, I bake mine the night before, and I let it sit unbaked. I put some foil over the top of it in the refrigerator overnight, and then about an hour before it's ready to be served, I'll bake it for 1 hour. And then after I bake that, you serve it, just spoonfuls. And my husband likes what they call giblet gravy. We used to have to make it from scratch, but now what I use is a can of cream of mushroom soup, and I take 1 boiled egg and dice it up in there and just serve it over the dressing. And then we like cranberry juice, not the berries, but the jellied style, and you serve it with the cornbread dressing also. Try it. I think you'll like it. If you like this recipe and maybe some other recipes that I know how to make, just let me know, and I'll try to get you onto it. Okay, guys, this is the end of my video, and what I'm going to do is put this in some foil over the top of it and put it in the refrigerator. Bye.